Welcome to Joe's Astrology, and in this video I'm talking about an astrologer's perspective on marriage. Now, many people aren't aware of this because they don't study astrology and they don't believe in astrology. What I've seen is that when people get married or they fall in love, they're definitely going through some kind of transit, or without astrology you might say they're falling in love or they're going through a phase. And it's kind of like that. It's kind of like a phase they go through. Might have 1 year in particular where they meet someone that's really important, and you can see that reflective in the astrology. And when two people come together, it creates an astrology or a chart, what we would call a composite chart of its own. And if that composite chart is well, for lack of a better term, is good or pleasant, the future of that marriage or that relationship will certainly be easier. It won't be without struggle, but it will definitely be easier. Or with a composite chart that is more difficult, will definitely have more challenges to overcome. And without a certain level of awareness, that couple will not meet those challenges. Now, over time, of course, in a marriage or a relationship, time changes and the environment changes, and the people involved, as they grow older, their perspective changes, and this can be also reflective in the astrology, specifically the transits or the solar return, and also in the progress chart as well. And in these charts that are reflective of what's going on in the person's life, we can see that these challenges and these struggles, we can find strategies on how they can be overcome. We can also see, more importantly, that they will end over time. So for example, if a couple or a person in their own life can get through that time and survive through that time, we can look to the next solar return, or we can look as the planets transit and move into other locations, that over time those same challenges and struggles may even relieve themselves on their own with almost no effort whatsoever of the parties involved. Now, the reason why this is important to understand and to know is that oftentimes in marriage or in a relationship, we may think that the way we're feeling is reality. And oftentimes when we can look at the astrology and we can look at the situation and the people involved, we can see that there is no reality. The reality that the people are feeling or experiencing is not actually true. And for some people, for many people, seeing and understanding the astrology confirms or helps them understand that their reality is skewed, and it's not what the way they're feeling isn't actually true or accurate to what's really happening. So it's a way to confirm or give a different perspective. So another, like for example, a person can be going to counseling and get a counselor's perspective, and they can still say, well, I don't believe what you're saying is true. This is a way that there's no belief involved, there's no other person's opinion. It's actually a more scientific or a more objective way to look at what's happening in the situation. So for me as an astrologer, this is the number one reason why marriages don't last. I think they say 50% of marriages end in divorce. This is the number one reason, and that is that life changes throughout time. And from an astrologer's perspective, there's different transits, the charts change, the energies change, and the parties involved are not able to understand what is actually occurring. Now, in some cases, there could be a good reason for these changes and a good reason for separation, but it's my opinion that in maybe 75% of cases, it's a phase that the people go through and they're not able to handle the energies, and they end up splitting or going their separate ways. And oftentimes they may come back. They're still friends, they still know each other, and to me this is an indicator that this is part of that group of the 75% that went through this phase where there was really no need to separate. It was just a matter of not being able to handle the energies, not having knowledge, not having understanding, and not having patience. And also with this kind of understanding, an understanding of astrology and the way them explaining things, as time goes on and the energies pass, there's no need to be bitter. Where oftentimes in marriages that do last or that do get through these things, they maintain a memory of the bad experiences and they hold on to them as if they're their own. Where here, with the understanding of these transits and the movement of energies, we can almost step back. We can step back and understand them as not our own. They're just not completely like they're happening to us, but sometimes they are not our true, genuine selves, and we can look back and laugh almost, or have a sense of humor about what happened, and not this bitterness that you were this way or I was that way, and it gives you a way to release that energy as if it is part of the past and it no longer exists in the present. So to sum up this video, if a person can have a understanding of their astrological natal chart, an understanding of their partner's astrological natal chart, the transits that are going on, and the composite chart where the two partners come together and create a new chart, if they can have an understanding of all this, they are at a major advantage in helping their marriage last longer than if they didn't have this information.